Namaste. I am David Maharaj and I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel called Brahma Gaje, a channel that is dedicated to philosophical discourse. For the formalities, please do not forget to click on that like button and also that subscribe button. In this episode, I will be summarizing the day 4 of Shri Shiv Maha Puran Katha held here locally in Maryland at a temple called the Greater Baltimore Temple that is located in Finksburg, Maryland. And the Katha was conducted by the High Priest of the temple, Acharya Shri Padmanabh Joshi. So this is the day 4 summary of Shri Shiv Maha Puran Katha. Let's get started, shall we? So on this day, Panditji started with the concept or the notion or the definition of Omkar. Omkar, Om, which is the symbol of Hindu religion. If you see Om, you will identify that as Hindu. But really, Omkar is not necessarily Hindu. It is universal. It is the primordial sound of the universe, of the cosmos. When we say Brahma Gaje with Omkar, linking with my YouTube channel or the concept here. Omkar is the only sound from which all and everything came. As Panditji mentioned, Omkar is also the Shiv Swarup, Sakshat Shiv Swarup. In Omkar is Shiv, and in Shiv is Omkar. Omkar is the symbolization or symbolism of the divine power, the divine energy, the divine sound of the cosmos, and Shiv. Panditji talked about how Omkar, A, U, and Ma symbolize the creation, the maintenance, and the conclusion. All three aspects, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, are in Omkar. Overall, Omkar is Sadashiv, which embodies all those. Just chanting Omkar purifies the environment, purifies your soul, your body, your mind, and everything around you. This is the only Bij mantra you can chant and nothing else. If you know just Omkar, you will be revived from any sins, any difficulties, any troubles, what have you, as Panditji mentioned. Vedas, knowledge, also came from the Omkar. As I mentioned, everything came from that. Going back to the Big Bang, if Big Bang, the singularity concept from which everything might have sprung, expanded, that origin of that expansion, the root of it, the bij, the seed of that is Omkar. While universe is a vacuum, but if we were to conceptualize the sound of it, that is the sound you will find underlying within the fabric of the universe. Poetry by Narsimha Mehta comes into the mind that Nirakhne gaganma kaun ghumi rayo, tej hun, shabd bole. O seeker, look in the sky. What do you see, experience, comprehend? It is I, the Shabda, the Nada Brahma, the sound, the primordial sound, the Omkar. If you want to just simply meditate, and it doesn't really matter where you are, because this sound is the fabric of the cosmos. It surrounds you already. You are just simply invoking with your organs, with your sound cords, And if you are chanting Om, try to invoke it from your nabi, from your belly, upward. And immerse yourself into the sound of Omkar. And then you will see that you are becoming united with the cosmos. And therefore, Shiv or Shiv Tattva. Then Panditji talked about the process of creating Parthiv Linga. In the previous episode, I had alluded that we'll be talking about that. I had mentioned how Parthiv Linga or worshipping Parthiv Linga is the best form of worship. Panditji expands this concept based on the Shiv Puran here. Parthiv Linga is creating Shiv Linga, the form, the symbolic form of Shiv, Sagun and Nirgun, form and formless, which is what it symbolizes, as we had talked in previous episodes, can be made from simple clay. And the importance, as Panditji explained here, of creating Parthiv Linga is such that you are involved from the very beginning. You gather the clay, you are working with the clay, you're making, again, not bigger than your thumb, a linga of Shiv, and the base, the yoni, the mother, the goddess, again, Shiv and Shivani. Shiv and Shiva go together. Base and the Shiva can never be separated. So you are making that from the clay. Then you dry it. Again, you're constantly thinking about it. Then once it's dried, you put jal, milk, panchamrit, yogurt, honey, ghee, sugar, milk, etc. on it, and you do Abhishek chanting Om Namah Shivaya. And then once it is done, you dissolve it, and then you make it again. So this process of creation, maintenance, and conclusion is what you do yourself by creating the Parthiv Linga. Therefore, you are fully immersed into that. And that process, this procedure, makes you intertwined with the concept of Shiv or Shiv Tattva. So that's why Parthiv Linga is the best form of Shiv worship. If you are able to do it, you can do it. And people have different traditions. Some people make 108 small lingas and do the worship accordingly. Some just make one. It doesn't matter. The tradition that you want to follow, the process that you want to follow, you can follow it. But the basic process of creating Parthiv Linga is what I just described. Take a clay, using little water, mold it into Shiv Linga with the yoni, the base of the Shiv, dry it, and then do puja, worship, meditation on it. And the beauty of creating Parthiv Linga is that you can do it anywhere. Anywhere you find clay, you are able to do this. You have no restrictions. And Shiv Tattva, Shiv worship, is always without restrictions. You can do it with your mindset, cultivated with your faith, concentrated with your action, and thus you have this meditation, the full meditation in Parthiv Linga or the Linga Puja. Then Panditji talked about different types of Yajnas and how Shiv Tattva is also the Yajna Swarup, which we had spoken about earlier. If Vishnu is the Adi, Shiv is the conclusion. After all, as we discussed earlier, the conclusion of the Yajna is Bhasma. Your conclusion of your entire life, after all, is ashes, Bhasma. So why worry about it? Why have ego? Surrender yourself into this yajna, aka life, with your mind devoted to Shiv worship. Then Panditji talked about how, of course, the holy fire, the one that we know, is the most famous form of yajna, but simply giving water, argya, to Surya Narayan in the morning is also another type of yajna. Again, anytime you're invoking the energy or the cosmic energy, you are performing a yajna. Then Panditji talked about how 3 Varnas can take Janoyi. We have this common belief that Janoyi, the thread, that the cotton thread that, for example, I have it, which is given when you are coming of age in the Hindu tradition, can only be worn by Brahmins, the highest of the caste. That is misnomer. As Panditji specified, all 3 Varnas, the Brahmins, the philosophers or the knowledge holder, the Kshatriyas, the warrior class, and Vaishya, the merchant class, all 3 can do Janoyi. Shudra, the working class, or the workers, and women cannot do it. This is not a form of discrimination, even though we have made it that way. The caste system has become a form of discrimination, or had become a form of discrimination, but really it isn't. It is a division of labor. We all perform the same task throughout the day. When we are doing some intellectual works, we are Brahmin. When we are doing some work that requires muscles and power and bravery, what have you, we are Kshatriyas. When we are in the business of trading, we are Vaishyas. And when we are cleaning toilet, dishes, bathrooms, etc., we are Kshudras. We all do it. The reason why, when you are connecting here, the work of cleaning, etc., the thread is sacred, it is holy, just out of respect so that it doesn't get dirty, what have you, you're not supposed to wear it. Therefore, Kshudras are not to have Janoyi. Women also, because women have to do a lot of work, traditionally speaking, that could contaminate the thread. Therefore, the male or the husband is given the duty of wearing his wife's sacred thread Janoyi. Therefore, the husband who is married is supposed to wear 2 threads, saying to the wife that I am taking your responsibility because you are constantly in the taking care of kids, what have you, and you may not be able to upkeep this thread, I am doing it. So again, this is not a discrimination. In the very ancient India, women did wear Janoyi, but this became the tradition just for practical reasons. And as I just described, we are all 4 Varnas. We are Brahmins, we are Kshatriyas, we are Vaishyas, and we are Kshudras. So when you are doing those things, make sure that you take care of the sacred thread if you are wearing it. The sacred thread symbolizes all 3 again: Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. The creator God, the maintainer God, and the conclusion. That's why it's very important. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's statement comes into the mind that any wise man is a Brahmin. So Brahmin is not something that you become by birth or what have you. It is through your karma. And you're not constantly doing the same karma. As I mentioned, in modern age, you're doing various things. All these duties are shared by one single person. Therefore, you are. And as we learned in Srimad Bhagavat in my previous summary, after all, the Varna Varnashram Vyavastha, the division of labor, symbolically unites into Lord Vishnu. The head is Brahmin, the shoulder Kshatriyas, the abdomen and the lower part is Vaishya, and the legs, etc. is Shudra. Again, same person. Symbolically speaking, it's the same Lord Vishnu. So why discriminate? It was never meant to be. Then Panditji talked about Bhandhan. The things that tie you up. And there are 8 kinds of Bhandhan, bondage. Things that tie you. There are 5 senses. Then Man, Buddhi, Ahamkar. So 5 senses, Man, Buddhi, Ahamkar. 8. 5 senses, as we know, sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste. And then the mind, the man, intellect, the buddhi, ahankar, the ego. These are the bondages. There is nobody else tying you up. You are the one responsible for your own bondage, as Panditji explained. This is not an external thing that, you know what, my kids, I cannot do this because my kids. That's an excuse. Or I cannot do this because of my work. Or I cannot do this because of my health. Again, excuse. The path of moksha is completely up to you. You can take it if you so choose. But we are bound. This bondage is such that it ties you up in such a way that you feel that you cannot get out. Taste. You like something. You are now such a big fan of that which you like. You see somebody pretty, somebody beautiful, now you are driven into that. Again, the 5 senses. Or you are knowledgeable that you consider yourself to be, or you're wealthy that you consider yourself to be, and you have this ego that nobody is better than me, I am the best. That's it. Period. You are bounded. You are the one who is tying you up with ego. Let the ego go and your ties are over. You're no longer bounded. Yes, that thing that you like to eat, that you are so fond of, yes, eat, but not have the bondage with it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Poetry by Mirabai comes into the mind that Ram rakhe tem rahiye Udhavji. Ram rakhe tem rahiye. Kokadin khawane shiro ne puri to kokadin bhukhya rahiye Udhavji. Ram rakhe tem rahiye. If you are given the worldly pleasures, so have it. Enjoy it. But not be attached to it so that if you don't have it the other day, you're not in bondage, you are free from it. Because you yourself has committed that you don't want to be bonded. Then Panditji talked about how worshipping Shiv removes that bondage. Again, you are detaching yourself. Shiv represents Vairagya. But he is also the best husband. Kam Shastra, the art of lovemaking, was first comprehended, given, taught by Lord Shiv himself. Yet Kam doesn't bind him. The worldly pleasures, the desire, the sexual desire, and we will learn in the future episodes, cannot bind him. He is beyond it. The Kam Shastra, Kam Sutra that we see today, and again, as I come to think of it, Vastanaya wrote it, some time ago, in ancient time. Yeah, that's really just a modern, very brief doctrine of lovemaking. But the original one is much larger, almost infinite and lost, but really lost in writing, not in essence. But the origin of that is Lord Shiv. So, he is the Vairagi, but he's also the best lover that you can find, that Mata Parvati can find. He is the only truth, the Satya, and he is the only handsome one, the prettier one, the beautiful one, Sundar. Satyam Shivam Sundar. As the Sanskrit statement goes here. So as you cultivate your energy, your faith, your mind towards the Shiv worship, you slowly learn to enjoy the worldly pleasures, but also let them go all at once too. That you're not in that bondage. When Shiv and Shiva are doing their lasya dance, the most beautiful erotic dance that you can ever imagine, yes, but when they are together in meditation, they have let everything go also. They have that ability that we learn by observing them. By keeping our mindset into the Shiv worship, Shiv puja. So, no, it's okay to enjoy the worldly pleasure. That's why you are here. That's why you have this body, you have this personality that you have. Absolutely. Your partner. Enjoy. But not be bonded by it. Not be in the bondage of it such that you cannot get out. Immanuel Kant, a metaphysicist, the greatest philosopher of the Western region, one of my most favorite, comes into the mind. In his essay, Critique of Pure Reasoning, around 18th century or so, Immanuel Kant writes, all our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. Again, all our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and then ends with the reason. This mirrors the progression, as I mentioned, from the sensory input, the five senses that we spoke of. We need those senses. They are the sensors from which we can comprehend, understand this reality, this world, this existence, this worldly pleasures also at the same time. But then through that mental processing, through the man, and through intellectual discernment, buddhi, and finally through our ego, which also we need ahamkar to realize it, we then must transcend for the spiritual liberation. That is the Shaivic philosophy. Through your senses, you understand the world, your worldly pleasure, again, in simple terms. Through your mental processing, through your man, you comprehend it. Through your intellect, through your buddhi, you are finally immersing yourself with that. And then finally, with your ego, your ahamkar, you fully realize it, you hold it, and then you transcend, you let everything go. You transcend to or away from this bondage into the spiritual liberation. So you need all of it. Nothing is to be let go. No. Why? You have it, enjoy it. Sense it, feel it. With your mind, understand it. With your intellect, comprehend it. With your ego, hold it. And then transcend, lift yourself above this bondage, breaking the shackles completely towards the spiritual liberation. That is all I have. Om Namah Shivaya.